Y'all, we are back in the building. Happy Monday morning. We're talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, of course, and the plot that just keeps on thickening. But what is the plot? That's the question on everyone's lips. The plot that K. Michelle knows that we don't know, that other people also don't know, except Shamia and Kelli maybe, but also won't say. Let's dive into it. I'm going to give you guys what I think about it. And I've had to try to do this without reading other people's comments because what I determined was a lot of comments frustrate me. A lot of comments frustrate me because when a lot of y'all get frustrated with the housewife or there's continued frustration with the housewife, y'all are immediately like, get this person off the show. Get him off my screen. And it's like, I would like to just get to know this person a little bit better and figure out what is going on first. I wanted to do this review after having just watched it. So let's get into it. This episode is titled Dynasty, Diamonds, and Drama. It's season 17, episode 7. The ladies continue their Dallas getaway as they prepare for Cynthia's lavish Dynasty-themed gala to celebrate her tequila brand. But what was meant to be glamorous quickly turns dramatic. Okay, now I want to establish something first. There is currently a beef happening between K. Michelle and Porsha as a result of last night's episode. And spoiler alert before we get into it, what we do understand is that K. Michelle feels as though Porsha, Drew, and maybe Phaedra, who we know in real time she actually loves because we've heard her talk about that. But right now, the plot is Porsha, Drew, and Phaedra. Okay? What do these plots regard? Plot number 1 is the Black Drew situation. Plot number 2 is something about a stinky kitty. This has been apparently something that's gone around about her in the past from an ex. And to be honest with you, I don't even remember this story. And I don't think that many of us would remember it either if Kay didn't bring any attention to it, unfortunately. But now that it's out there, I don't think that many of us are still concerned with the smell of her punani because the credibility of the story is not such that it's anything that we want to really invest in, personally speaking, as a Housewives fan. Okay? So I would like to just put that out there, but that does not negate this idea that K. Michelle believes that someone is out to get her. Now, whether she's being gaslit, whether she is gaslighting us, or again, someone I believe has told her this information. And I believe that she believes that this information is true. So whatever is happening, she's taking these moments that are maybe jokes, maybe not jokes, and she are taking them as digs based on some information that she has gotten that she has thus shared at least with Shamia and maybe Kelli. All right. So let's get into the tweets because she love a tweet. All right. Or a thread or whatever, wherever they be. All right. So K. Michelle, after the episode, or at least at some point, says, don't sit in my face and play like you don't know what I'm talking about. You want a reaction, you can have it. Say it to my face or be a quiet coward. So Porsha chimes in and who is a coward? I would define a coward as a person tweeting from the same house 2 doors down from me. Next time, let's do our job and bring it to my front door real time. That's how it's done in Real Housewives of Atlanta. So Kay says, keep watching. Y'all know my character. Don't sit in my face and play like you don't know what I'm talking about. You want a reaction, you can have it. Say it to my face or be a quiet coward. I'm definitely crying when I'm mad at risk of returning to my old self. I don't care how crazy it looked. All the behind the scenes producing these ladies did, I knew all about all of it. I sat there and watched quietly. I'm not new to this. So I want to address something that Kay does say in this. She says, I don't crazy how it looked. All the behind the scenes producing these ladies did, I knew all about all of it. And I sat there and watched quietly. I'm not new to this. This is where I genuinely believe that there was something that has been said to her, but we just don't know by whom. A lot of them, the group, assume that it is Shamea. Shamea said it. K. Michelle confirmed it that Shamea did not do this. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people, especially the women in the group. Let me just talk about them because I can't speak about the fans because I already know how y'all feel about Shamea. And I think it's wonderful for you. Okay. But I can't look at it in the same way that everybody else is looking at it just for the sake of going along to get along. I don't think Shamea is at the core of this. I just don't. Again, she said it. K. Michelle said it. She called a meeting to get that clarified because I think she knows that she's going to be the target. And I also think it's very easy for Angela to point a finger at Shamea to continue to further this narrative of discord between Porsha and Shamea because I think it is also Angela who doesn't like Porsha. Angela continues to say in just about every other episode that she continues to bring up this thing with Porsha and Charles. It is still sitting on her. She refuses to say it to Porsha's face. She never says it to her face. She only says it in the confessional. So my opinion about where Angela thinks about Shamea's faces this is null and void to me because your true issue is still with Porsha. What this issue is with Shamea and y'all trying to make it seem as though Shamea is making it like y'all are the problem. Granted, Shamea don't do herself no favors, and we're going to get to Shamea in a second, but because we do need to talk about her. But Angela, for you, it would be best if you actually addressed the elefante in your room with Porsha because it's still there. It keeps coming up. And it seems like nobody else wants to address that this keeps coming up except for me. I just don't understand. Like, is anybody else peeping this? I don't get it. I think that Shamea is an easy fall guy for much of this chaos because it is probably well known at this point that the audience does not like her and that the rest of the ladies, it's easier because Shamea don't have no power in this situation. She really doesn't. Y'all don't like her. The cast probably don't really like her at this point, but it's easier to deal with Shamea than it is to deal with Porsha. It really is. So I have less respect for Angela and this whole situation that she keeps trying to have with Shamea about something that happened last year. Porsha and Shamea's friendship was going to disintegrate whether anybody did anything to it or not. So I'm gonna say that. So Shamea thinking that yes, Angela and Drew continue to stoke the flames a little bit, but it was already going to end. It was probably already over. Do Drew and Angela continue to light fires with it? They do. But there is something that K. Michelle says to Shamea at breakfast the next day that I actually fully respect it, but I also think Kay needs to take this advice as well. If you want to, Kay basically tells Shamea, you can't be muttering under your breath about things that happen with you and Drew. You can't make little comments. You can't do yeah. You can't do any of that if you are really genuinely trying to move forward with this girl. I felt like Kay gave her some real advice in that moment. So it does sound confusing to me that Kay is having all of these issues with these plots and schemes when she was super coherent about what Shamea needed to do moving forward, that it seems odd she can't see what she needs to do moving forward. But sometimes it's easier to see the forest through the trees, and we can always have clarity on someone else's life situations, and sometimes we don't have clarity on our own. Let's get back to how the episode plays out. Kelli and Porsha are arguing. Their argument continues to just devolve until there's some scissor accusations about Kelli wanting to scissor Porsha and her platinum punani. Porsha does not want trolls climbing up her trees. So the night never occurred in this way. So no one scissored anyone. All right. They suddenly start talking about a flower for which maybe me being a man, I have no knowledge of. This rose in the cooter. Is it a thing? I don't know. You tell me. I ask you. You tell me. Where are we putting our roses? So they finally make it to the event dinner. Pinky, who is wearing the same outfit that Tiffany from Bell Collective Birmingham is wearing in her confessional, they have on the same pink outfit. Did y'all realize that? For those of you guys who watch both shows, It just occurred to me. Pinky is wearing the same thing that Tiffany has in her confessional. Doesn't matter because that's about to get ruined because Pinky, I don't know if this is because she's vegan and they ain't give her nothing to eat, but she's been drinking all the tequila and so she has to go to the bathroom and she has to go yuck it all up. She's out. Meanwhile, at the table, there is some very interesting joke which Angela is very clear when she wants to be, right? And don't get me wrong, I love Angela. Love her because she is the bone collector of the show. Let's keep it real. She is one of them, okay? There is the foods being passed around. There is a joke about the oysters. Now, the oysters, maybe I don't get it because when oysters come to the table, I'm just going to eat them. But Porsha makes this joke about having to inspect them and then smell them and see if any are stinky. I'm assuming the oyster is meant to be a metaphor for the punani, for which the article stated that K. Michelle's ex says did not smell so platinum. But when Porsha makes this statement, Angela in her confessional questions why this statement is coming up. Who is doing this and smelling the oysters? I don't smell my oysters. I've never done that. This is all a new conversation to me. But again, I didn't know about the rose in the punani. So maybe I'm just, again, behind on lady parts, oysters, roses, and whatever else is going in trolls. I don't know. I don't know nothing about it. Okay. What we do know is I see the camera pans over to Drew. She makes a face. Then it's okay for Kay or whomever to eat the platinum oysters. Kay is looking in that moment like, I see the scheme playing out before me. But was it indeed a scheme? Was that moment a scheme? Why was Angela questioning it in the confessional? Why was Drew making the face? Is that what suddenly snapped in Kay's mind about something being a scheme? Or does Kay have a residual PTSD? And now I don't want to call it a PTSD because some of y'all will state that, well, she's done reality TV shows before, so she knows. Some of y'all are like, well, she don't belong on the show anyway because she's VH1. And I'm assuming because VH1 is considered, okay, just for Love and Hip Hop. Some of y'all look at Housewives as being here, Love and Hip Hop as being here, okay? So I do understand that. But if we're looking at K. Michelle's behavior as being maybe violent or hot-tempered in the past, then we could also look at several ladies on the Real Housewives of Atlanta as well and look at their past, which is why in my mind, I'm like, y'all should be able to give this lady some grace. She has not been on that show for several years. So let's actually see where she is right now. And maybe then she won't be so sensitive online about what you guys are saying about her. Okay. I would wager, though, that this is something that Kay is going to have to get used to because Housewives fans are very active online in terms of their opinions and their thoughts, and as they should be because they're passionate about the show. Now, again, I do think that there's a fine line between passion and overall just people who want microwavable shows, right? They want a show where the characters that they love, they want it to the show to focus on those characters. They want light banter back and forth, and they don't really want to go too deep. If you start to go too deep and you get too dark, they're gonna have you out of there in a hot second. I don't want K. Michelle to continue to have those bugs in her ear and then not make it on this franchise because all of that is continuously going on. And it is likely to get worse, okay, after this week. Now, having gotten that out of my system, I'm not going to say it no more because I'm tired of it. Moving right along. I don't know if this is the plot that K. Michelle is referring to that someone has told her about. My wonder is, she said it this in the scene with Porsha and Kelli. Did she have a conversation with Kelli afterwards? Maybe check on her, ask if she's okay. Did Kelli say, oh, this is what Porsha does because she was just the victim of such a thing, and you should be careful because she's going to do it to you? Is that what happened? Could that be what happened? So now Porsha is sort of looked at as like, oh, I can't trust it. We can't trust Porsha because we don't know what she's going to say. Look at these previous instances in the past. This is who she is. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to say it. Sometimes we can't judge a person by their past, and we got to give them the grace to move forward. From what I could see, for the most part, with Porsha and Kay, is generally speaking, I feel as though Porsha has been making an effort to comfort Kay or to show her what their friendship could be individually, and also be a big sis and look out for her as she navigates this, because she knows K Michelle has some PTSD. Now, the PTSD aspect being those stories that have been out in the past about her, the way she was maybe treated or she felt she was treated previously on Love and Hip Hop, or by the Atlanta community in general, especially with regards to being in an ensemble cast. I don't have a problem with K Michelle having those issues. I do have a problem, though, with how K Michelle is choosing to address those issues. It is Housewives, and this is going to move fast. So what I need for Kay to do is to be able to accurately state, this is what I'm being told. And Porsha, I'm being told it is you. You're making these jokes. I need to know what these jokes are from. See, because that's natural conflict. You might be thinking it is completely natural for K Michelle to assume that somebody could be joking about something that would hurt her, because she has seen some argumentations where the ladies have gone super low. And it could have very well been that K Michelle was told coming into this that this isn't that type of show. We're not bringing that type of energy this season. This is what we want. And so now she's getting a taste of what the real is, and she is shocked, gooped, gagged, disappointed, and shook. I don't really know. All I know is the delivery of said issues is problematic because she's not very direct. And I don't know if she is having trouble navigating being direct and not coming across as a hothead, but I would rather you just come across as a hothead and just be direct and get the issues out on the table. No, you ain't got to bop nobody upside the head with flowers, but at the end of the day, we do need you to state what your issue is, because otherwise we are left guessing, the ladies are left guessing, and now poor Shamia and her booty are taking the brunt of the issues because they don't like her. Y'all don't like her. And so it's going to be easy to look like Shamia caused all this problems, because she also doesn't like Drew. Well, she's not getting along with her. They don't get along. So something's got to give, because now everybody thinks that Shamia is the mastermind. I already see it. They do. Y'all, everybody thinks Shamia is the mastermind. I'm just trying to figure out, could it have been someone else? Was it Shamia? And I also can see Shamia being like, this is what I have faced. This is what has gone on with me. So all of these stories corroborating could have made the situation bigger in Kay's mind. I don't know. Okay. And we don't get a preview for the next episode to be able to really tell, although I think that mid-season trailer is coming up this week. Okay. Because we're at the episode 7 mark. This is traditionally where we get the mid-season trailer. Now, let's discuss. We get past dinner. K Michelle is, and the other thing about Kay that I wish would change is that she seems so cautious, so quiet, so in her head, that she's unable to live out the actual feelings that she's having. And even that would be better. See, here the difference, and y'all don't like her either, but the difference, I think, in this instance between Pinky and K Michelle is Pinky is very direct. Now, a lot of y'all don't like that. All right. Cynthia definitely did not like it, although I didn't think there was anything wrong with what Pinky did. I think I want my housewives to be direct. I want them to get right down to it. We don't have time to play. She questioned Cynthia, I think, as anybody should have. Cynthia is the host of the trip. Cynthia, did you have any intentions behind putting Shamia and Kelli out there? Cynthia, what happened when they told you that the room was dirty? Cynthia, what is the plan moving forward to get these girls their room fixed? Because right now they don't think they can shower, and I'm going to have to give up my room because ain't nobody else going to be willing to do it because y'all clearly don't like these girls. At the end of the day, I do want to know what's going on with this situation. Cynthia Bailey, if you are the host, and you know I love me some Cynthia, if you are the host, though, you do have to answer these questions. You do. You absolutely do. And if the issue hasn't been fixed, you'll have to answer it again the next day. I get it. You might be over it. Then at this point, do you have to actually consider yourself? Do I want to continue ever hosting? Because that's what a host is going to have to do. That's what a host is going to have to do. You have to deal with the issues. Now, does that make them your fault? No. That's not, I don't think anybody's saying that. But there is an expectation for the host to handle issues. Let's not escape that. Let's not run from that. That being a good host is the person that's actually, I'm on it. I don't actually stay on me until we get it resolved. So I'm thinking about you. That's what a good host does. So that kind of annoys me still. But whatever. If she don't want to take no responsibility for it, girl, you got a whole brand to run. So your hospitality skills are going to definitely have to be top tier if you're going to be running around here having a tequila brand. That's just what it's going to be. And again, what happens if a customer order goes wrong? People will be upset. And so what do you do as the owner? You're going to I'm tired of this person complaining they didn't get their bottle. No, what you do is you contact the customer. Hey, we're working on getting you a new bottle. And as a matter of fact, babes, I'm going to send you our newest thing when we get an opportunity. Or I want to send you a special discount code. Something, right? You just want to be able to mitigate those issues. Now, granted, some customers just going to be customers and they're going to just be, it is what it's going to be. But I'm just saying, Cynthia, let's get that together. That still bothers me. So breakfast the next day, Michelle they're all at the table. It's revealed that Kay has an issue. She does not feel safe in this group. She commented the night before about how quickly Kelli and Porsha were able to move past their issues. And I got to say this. I got to give it up for Porsha too, because what I said, and I said it before, Porsha will move fast through an issue. She apologized to Kelli for the things that she said about Kelli's business. Now, I note that Kelli did not apologize, and Porsha seemed like she was actually willing to try to move forward. And Kelli was like, I'll just keep it where it's at, right? And maybe Kelli also feels like, I don't know what you about to say about me next. You done pulled out this man. You done pulled out some scissors, and I don't know what you're going to say next about me. So I think Kelli is probably like, I'm good for now. But I can say that at least Porsha apologized for the things that she said about the business, because I think that also mattered, because Porsha is also a businesswoman as well. So I love that she did that. And I love that we were able to just keep it pushing. And I think that's also why Porsha is well liked by a lot of the fans, is because for the most part, except for this lingering issue for which we can all see that Porsha and Shamea don't really interact. And it's weird because we know what their past interactions were like. So to see them not interact, it does leave a little bit of a hole in the group, but not so much that, because we have 8 people. And if we had more of K. Michelle and her actual personality, then I think that the Shamea Porsha of it all, we would not notice that gap so much if K. Michelle was being her full, authentic K. Michelle self, which is what we had all been wanting, right? But because she's so preoccupied with this plot, she cannot relax. That's the issue. And that's the thing that I think is going to be unfortunate for her when she looks back at this season, is that she's going to realize she wasn't able to relax. Okay? Now, regardless if these girls are plotting on you or not, they may very well be. But at the end of the day, you just need to continue to go about being fabulous and just being you. Because let's recall, last season, the girls were not feeling Angela. They were not. When they went on that cast trip, they were barely feeling her, and they definitely were not feeling Drew. Okay? But Angela stuck it out, and she wrangled with everybody. But I also got to state this, because I think that this needs to be said too. Is it too far from the realm of possibility to believe that someone has put this idea of a plot in K. Michelle's head? It is not too far from the realm of possibility to believe that someone put it there. Because I don't want to say the same, but someone put some plot in Angela's head last season about Charles. Now, granted, we understood that it came from someone who was not on the show, who had apparently either seen or heard something and then brought that information back. But there were other factors at play in that situation that seemed very mysterious, and Angela was dead set on believing whatever it was about Phaedra, the implication that it was Phaedra. So we went down a rabbit hole last year at the end of the season with Angela and Phaedra. Now there's a whole other plot. Can I believe that this is something that K. Michelle was told? Absolutely. Absolutely. I just don't know by whom. Okay. Now you guys can put your guesses in the chat. I would love to see them. But I would just ask you to think critically about how you think this came about. What is the plot? But and for what and to but and also to what end? Is it to make K. Michelle look like she's crazy and get her out of this show? Or is it to jeopardize her relationship, for which no one seems interested in doing so? So that is also what is also interesting to me. The next issue that does come up though is the ladies gather around Kay, and when she breaks down crying and she's talking about this person and you know what you plotting. Meanwhile, she's also tweeting about, and that's another issue that I have with Kay, is that if you're gonna tweet, you should talk. Tweet, I would take talking over tweeting. Now I didn't mind the cryptic tweet back then, but I thought in the real time you was gonna handle it. Okay, I'm gonna need you to handle what you're tweeting about. If you're tweeting from the bedroom, by the time you get to the sunroom, I'm gonna need you to be ready to talk. Now, the thing that she does talk about is this situation after Shamea calls everybody together, because they are already looking at Shamea as though she is the problem. Angela, Phaedra have deduced that the culprit is Shamea putting a battery in K. Michelle's back, winding her up like a rag doll, and sending her crying into the scenes. Okay? What issue does come up is K. Michelle feels like, and I felt like the issue was going to be about the black guy, but the guy named Black. Okay, let me say that. But I didn't think it was going to be that. K. Michelle feels as though Drew is trying to put off some type of relationship between Black and Kay in an effort to maybe discredit her marriage or make her marriage look bad. And I'm like, it did not appear that way at all. When the scene flashes back to K. Michelle speaking to Black on the phone, the husband even spoke to the man. Probably in just knowing that, oh, Kay knows a lot of people. This is someone else she knows. He didn't seem like he had a problem with it. So she smiled and she spoke, and so it seemed friendly. So in my mind, Drew could have just been reacting to that as she stated. But if there's a plot in K. Michelle's head, then she would probably reasonably assume that at lunch, when she told Porsha and Kelli that man had been DMing her, I'm assuming at the party she tried to keep it cute. Hey, but I don't really know that man like that, right? I get it, right? And I think there's something that she wants to preserve about what men she might be, know. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with knowing this man's surface level, because he is well known in the industry for his business and what he does, clearly. So so maybe she thought that when she said that about him to Porsha and to Kelli, that maybe she thought that Porsha went back and told Drew this information, or there are things that we are not seeing, right? We did see Drew on the plane say, well, Black, but it again appeared to be because of Kay's reaction to him on the phone the first night, that first all cast scene in episode 1. The problem again, though, is Kay, we don't know enough, and we've not seen enough to really truly understand the plot, the why, and the who, and then the who told you this. Because otherwise, you're definitely not doing Shamea any favors, okay? I mean, you did give her some good advice about Drew, and I agreed with that. But I would wager to say that if you don't speak up and say who is telling you this information, then the audience is going to assume that it is Shamea, because you are confiding in them, in Shamea and Kelli. And if it was them, you need to, at some point, because Shamea gets questioned by Angela about why she didn't tell the group what K. Michelle was feeling. And like, Angela, you wouldn't do that if it was Drew, right? Or maybe she would. I don't know, because Angela is the bone collector. But Shamea has the same problem that Shamea has always had. Shamea is being a good friend, and it keeps biting her in the butt. It keeps biting her in the butt. And I hate to say it in those terms, but if if Shamea feels as though if Kay is coming to her and Kay doesn't feel safe, and she says, "This is what I've heard," then Shamea outing that before Kay ever had an opportunity to do so, which it is Kay Michelle's responsibility to do, then Shamea is definitely going to look like another problem. But now for Kay Michelle. And again, if Shamea is behind all this, Kay, at some point, you have to let us know so we can figure this thing out. But otherwise, we have a whole mystery, a whodunit on our hands. And I just feel like we left this episode still with more questions than we have answers. And now you and Porsha are literally at war over Portia's go naked hair, for which in the episode, Kay Michelle says that Porsha is selling the synthetics down on Buford Highway. On Buford. Where is Buford in Georgia? I don't know. What I do know is Porsha posted about her hair and said it is 100% real human hair. So go and check that on her $10 million business. Okay? 10 million, right? Did she say? I think she said 10. No, man, she said 10. Okay, yeah, she said 10. Okay, cool. Fine. It's 10 million. So there's that. Now, first of all, I do want to say shout out to Cynthia Bailey and your business. I want some tequila, Cynthia. So go on ahead and send me some tequila. I'm gonna go. Listen, you got to ask for what you want. Okay. Now I will buy it too, just so you know, for family functions and things like that, because I do like to support these people that I'm talking about on the screen. I will. I'm gonna go buy it. But go ahead and send it to me so I can promote it on the show, right? So we can go ahead and get that done. I think that's about it for this episode. What do y'all think? Who is at the center of this? Sometimes it's easy to blame production for these things, and I know that, and we often blame production when we cannot see the culprit. Or is there someone that Kay is protecting by not saying who it is? That's also she's trying to be a good friend as well. But the problem is we just can't see the issues. I can see what Kay Michelle could have issues with, but even as she's having issues, she does not look like she's having fun. So that's the biggest issue here. Also, too, is that there is you having an issue with someone and addressing it, getting it off your chest, and making it into this could be a great heated rivalry between you and Porsha or you and whomever. But you also don't look like you're having fun. I understand the trauma that has gone on, but if you are not having fun, then we are most certainly not having fun. So you've got to also figure out a way, and I hate to say this, but there has to be a level of levity to match the energy of this show, because that is, for the most part, Real Housewives of Atlanta is a bit of levity. And when in the past it has gotten too dark, it has felt like a drag. And I hate to say that. That's just the reality of it, though. It is. If we reflect back to Kay, episode 2, where she did give us highs and lows of performing and the butt cheeks leaking and going into the hospital, that's the way she handled it was still with a brightness about her. These episodes, she feels down in the dumps, and I don't want that for her. I don't think the audience wants that for her. I don't think the girls want it for her. And I think that she just needs to, again, fall into a sweet spot of, if somebody is plotting against you, then they're just going to have to work harder, because at the end of the day, they shouldn't be able to stop your fun. If you wanted this show the way that you've talked about it, then I need you to have the gratitude and the gravitas that we know that you can bring to really make it fun. Because otherwise, this don't feel fun. I don't feel like you're having fun. Let me say it that way. And so that is concerning, I think, not only for us as viewers, but also for the ladies. Let me know what y'all think. Do you agree with me? And I know a lot of y'all aren't, and I'm okay with that. But I just had to really talk through this, because I had all the feels watching this episode, and the feels and confusion. And I'm thinking to myself, well, who is the culprit? Who is the culprit? Okay. So listen, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Hit that like button, because that also helps keep the algorithm going. For those of you guys who are looking to build a personal brand on YouTube, you can join our live masterclass on Thursday. Y'all, we're doing it on Thursday this time, the 21st. This is going to be a hybrid. So it's going to be a hybrid for people who want to show their face on camera and make their content. I'm going to show you how to do this with ease so that you don't feel like this is an overcomplicated process. And I want to talk to you about how my client Karen got to 100,000 subscribers, how one video brought her in 14,000 new subscribers, generated her $7,000, and then what she's been able to do ever since when we first started working together. Another who also, actually, I've had like 3 people so far. I think 2 who have hit monetization within, one was in 45 days, and the other, let me put it up. Let me pull it up. She was able to, she says, I was in your class April 21st and I got monetized already on Facebook. I sent you an email last week about it. Thank you so much for your guidance. So what I am telling people and the work that we're doing, it works. And now these people are able to generate revenue from their content. I want to help you be able to do the same. Okay. So the proof is in the pudding. I got the receipts. I'm very happy to post them. And I have posted them in videos that I just posted this past weekend as well. So with that being said, I will catch you in the next video.